Welcome to HTML Crash Course. In this video, you are going to learn everything about HTML. By the end of this tutorial, you will have a solid understanding of HTML and be able to create your own web pages from scratch. So make sure to watch until the end of this video to become an HTML pro. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is a markup language not to be confused with a programming language. Its primary purpose is to structure the content of web pages. Think of it as a skeleton that provides a framework for your web content. To begin coding HTML, you need a simple text editor like Notepad. For a more user-friendly experience, you can use specialized code editors like Visual Studio Code, Sublime Text, or Atom. So for this video, I am using Visual Studio Code. Let's open a new window of Visual Studio Code. Here, go to this button and open a folder. I have created a folder in documents named as HTML course. Here it is, open it. So the first thing I'm going to do is to create a HTML file. Name of file .html extension. This HTML extension is used to create HTML file. We have this HTML template. So this first line doc type HTML is to tell the web browser which version of HTML to expect in the document. This is important because different versions of HTML have different rules and syntax, and web browser needs to interpret the document correctly to display it properly. So followed by HTML, we have these two tags, head and body. So this head tag contains some meta tags. These meta tags provide additional information, such as this meta tag character set UTF-8 specifies the character encoding of the document as UTF-8. This allows to support for a wide range of characters from various languages. And for this tag named as viewport controls how a web page is displayed on different devices with varying screen sizes and resolutions, providing a responsive and mobile-friendly experience. And it also contains this title present at the top of the tab. Let's rename it to HTML course. When you will run this, we can see this HTML course title. And lastly, this body section contains the visible content. In HTML, we use heading tags to display headings of different sizes. So here we have h1 tag of heading 1. We have h2 with heading 2 content, heading h with heading 3. These all headings are of different sizes. These sizes goes to h6 with heading 6. And here we can see headings of different sizes. And next we have this paragraph tag. This paragraph tag is used to write paragraphs. For example, let's write welcome to HTML crash course. Save. And this is our paragraph. Up next we have this anchor tag A that is used to create links to other pages or resources. For example, let's go to google.com. So this is the link of google.com. Copy it and let's paste this in this hypertext reference. This href contains the link, and here we can write the name of link as Google. Save. And now if we go to this document, we can see this link, and when I'm going to click on it, this will lead us to this google.com link. So there are two main types of list in HTML called as ordered list and unordered list. So let's explore each type with example. To create an ordered list, we use this tag OL, and inside this tag we have these list elements. List item 1, list item 2, list item 3. Save. So here we can see our ordered list. These are called ordered list as of order assigned to them as 1, 2, 3. We can change these numbers to Roman. Here we can specify type equals to. Here we can see different types that we can add. Let's add this. And here we have it. So the next type of list we have is UL, unordered list. An unordered list is used to present a list of items without any specific order. We have list elements, list item 1, list item 2, li list item 3. Say here we can see list items that are node ordered. So we can also change its style. We can also add type to unordered list. To add different style to our UL element, we can use this style, and here we can add list style type, and here we can see different options. Let's add this circle. Here we have this circle element. We can also add square here. Up next we have another useful tag called as image. So to add image to our document, we need to install an image. Let's go to free pick, where we can install high quality images. So let's add our image. Image has two attributes called as source, and this is alt. The attribute defines This attribute defines an alternative text description of the image. So let's add the path of the image, and next we will add alt if this image tag also have these attributes called as height. We can set height and width of our image, let's say 400, and width to 400. So here it is our image. Let's increase its width as it is little bit compressed. Let's set the width to 600. This is good. So the next tag that we are going to discuss is table. Table is used to display table data. Table element is the container for the entire table. It marks the beginning and end of the table. All the table rows and cells are enclosed within this element. So the next we have this table row. Table row element represents a row in the table. It contains one or more table cells. And inside this table row, we have this table head. Let's call it name, and another table head as age. Now let's create another row for the standard table data. This is for our head, and this is going to be our standard table data. We use td tag that represents standard data cells in the table. Let's add dev td as age as, let's say, 20. These header tags are usually bold and centered by default. So this is our small table here. Let's add more rows and columns to this table. th occupation, contact number, address, save, td, web developer. We have contact number to some random text. td, address, let's say street A, house 2, ABC. Let's add more rows. Let's copy this one. So this is our table. The next attribute that we are going to study is the border. We can add border to this table. Here we can add border to our table. Border equals to, here we can set the width 1. So now there is a table with border. Next attribute we have this cell spacing. The cell spacing attribute controls the space between adjacent cells in the table. Let's add cell spacing equals to of, let's say, 10. So now here we can see spacing between each cell. We can also add spacing inside this cell, and this spacing is called as cell padding. Let's add cell padding to 5. We have this table with cell padding, and this is the cell spacing, and this is the border. So the last thing that we are going to cover in this tutorial is form. Let's add a heading h3 forms. To create a form, we start with the form tag. This acts as the container for all form elements. We set the this we don't need this action attribute right now. So the next thing we are going to do is to add inputs in this form, as form is going to accept some data. So we are going to have this label that will contain the label of the input. Let's say it name, and the next thing we are going to have is input. So this is our input tag. Input tag, inside this input tag we have this attribute called as type. We can change this type according to our input, and we have this tag br that is going to break the line. Save. Now let's add more labels and inputs. We have email, input type email, label, we have contact number, input type number. Save. So here we can see our basic form. Okay, so I forgot to add br, the break line tag, to these two inputs. Let's add br tag to, let's add more of it to make it, where we have our basic form. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to add in this form is the text area. Sometimes we need user to provide longer text like comments or messages. For this, we use the text area element. Let's add label, enter your experience, and let's have a text area. And this text area has these columns and rows. We can set columns and rows according to the required width or height of the text area. Okay, so we can also have this placeholder attribute to enter your experience. We can add this placeholder attribute to these fields also. Let's add placeholder, enter name, placeholder, enter email, and lastly we can have this enter number. Save. Let's not forget to add this breakline tag. So here we have this text area. This is the default text area, so it look like this. To add styling to these elements, we need to use CSS, but for this course we are only covering HTML. Okay, so another thing that we are going to add in form is drop down list. It is also known as select boxes that allows user to choose from a list of options. So let's create our drop down. To create drop down, we use this. Let's add this label as vendor. We use the select tag. We have, let's ignore this name and ID for now. we have the select tag, and inside the select tag we have different options. Let's add male and male. This value we are going to use it. Okay. See, let's add another option, value to female and female. Save. So here we can see our two options, male and female. Lastly, we add a submit button to submit our form. The button element is perfect for this. We have this tag called as button. To create a button, let's add this text submit, and this will submit the form. Let's not forget to add this PR. And here we have this form without any styling.
Thanks for watching, and if you have any question about this tutorial, you can comment below and subscribe to my channel for this kind of content.